Hello, hello. My name is Rachel, and I'm here tonight with my December wrap-up and my January TBR. So in December, I read 9 books total, and the first one I read was Crossed by Ali Kandi. I gave this 2 out of 5 stars. This is the sequel to Matched, and I liked Matched a lot, so I was hoping that this would be good, but I'd heard some negative things about it, and I'm sad to say that I kind of agreed. It was very slow, it didn't seem like a lot happened, and I just wasn't as interested in the characters as I was in the first book. There is one more book reached in the series that I'm hoping to get to soon so I can round out this trilogy, but this one fell a little bit flat for me. I'm hoping the next one's a little bit better. Next, I read Illuminate by Amie Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars, mostly because it's just such a cool book. It looks really cool. It's got this lovely cover on it, and it's got a lovely hardcover as well. And then the whole book is presented as like a case file, so we see different types of text throughout. There are transcripts, there's lists, there are video surveillance footage, everything. Everything is in this book, and it's just so neat. I've read books where the whole story is told through like emails before, and it isn't as cool as what this was. And the whole story revolves around this couple. Their home planet has been attacked. They've fled on these 3 little spaceships, and all hell breaks loose, basically. There is still an aircraft that's after them, and the girl is learning how to hack into the system because the artificial intelligence on one of the planes is going haywire, they think, and the boy is training to be in kind of like their military unit to defend themselves, and there's this like rogue virus going around. It's crazy. It's action-packed. There's a lot going on, and I'm amazed that they were able to tell such a thorough story without actually giving you any direct text as normal. It's all through different formats of communication, and I thought that was very, very cool. And I just found out that there is going to be a second novel of this. I believe it was called Gemini, and that should be exciting. So hopefully that's going to be as good as this one. Next, I picked up Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, which is the second book in the Harry Potter series. I've mentioned this before, but basically I read the first Harry Potter a couple years ago after the craze died down, and I just wasn't into it, and then I decided to give it another try earlier this year with the audiobook, and I fell in love, and I'm working my way through the series now, and I read the second one with the audiobook, and I thought it was great. Most of you know what Harry Potter is about, so I won't really divulge too much, but my favorite scene in this was when they were denoming the garden. I thought that was hilarious. And I haven't watched any of the movies except for the first one because I don't like watching movies before I read a book. So I'm really excited to check out this movie, and I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. Next, I picked up Catacomb by Madeleine Roux. This is the 3rd book in the Asylum series, and basically this whole series follows these 3 students that met at a summer school program at a college in New Hampshire, and they discovered that the building that they're staying in on campus was actually an asylum and is haunted. And it kind of progresses through there. In the second book, they revisit the asylum and the campus, and then in this 3rd book they have a different location, which I think is why I like this one the best. This has probably been my favorite book in the series. In this book we follow the 3 kids to New Orleans, and it was, I think, more interesting in New Orleans than it was in their New Hampshire asylum. It's the same thing basically. They're kind of being followed, and there's a creepy element. They always come, all these books in the series come with these creepy pictures and illustrations throughout, and see, we've got some skulls there, and I don't know, it's fun. It was marketed kind of like American Horror Story for teens. I don't quite know if that's accurate, but it is kind of spooky, and they're really easy and fun. They're not like the best books ever, but I like to read them as they come out. They're kind of light and fun, so I definitely would suggest picking these up, especially around Halloween if you want something fast to read. And yeah, I gave this one 3 out of 5 stars. And I am looking forward to hopefully a 4th one. Then I picked up Shrinklets by Maurice Sagoff, and basically this takes a lot of classics. I think there's 70 classics that everybody knows, and they shrink it down to just one poem. And I love the idea of this. That's obviously why I picked it up, but I think they shortened it too much. I think the poem still would work, but it needs to be a little bit longer. I would like to be able to get the gist of the book from reading the poem. I mean, obviously you're not going to get all of the details as you would if you read the book, but I think it should give you a very strong idea of what the book is about, and I'm not sure a lot of these poems do that. In order to appreciate the poem, you really need to have read the book first, and I think that's really going to be hard to market to my students, and that's where I got this book from my school library, and I was hoping to kind of be able to tell them, you know, this would be a great starting place to find classics that you want to read, to give them an idea of what each classic contains, but I just don't think it measured up to that, so I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. Next, I picked up The Living Dead Girl by Elizabeth Scott. Anytime there is an abduction of a kid involved, I am just drawn to it. I'm not really sure why, but this one was very dark. I mean, obviously it is because a kid is being abducted, but this is very, very deep. And for such a short book, and I wouldn't expect it to be so incredibly dark, and it absolutely was. But this follows the story of a girl, and we are told the story from the girl's point of view after she is abducted from a field trip by obviously a creepy guy, and she literally calls herself the Living Dead Girl, meaning that obviously that she feels like she's dead even though she's still alive while she's being held captive by this man, and it begins to unravel that he is wanting another girl, and she's under the impression that once they get this new girl, with her help, that she will be set free, and yeah, so she has to decide whether she's willing to help him abduct another girl to take her place or not, and it kind of ended in a way that I wasn't expecting, but I definitely thought it was intriguing. I read the whole thing in one sitting, and I thought it was very good, so I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Next, I picked up My True Love Gave to Me, which is 12 Holiday Stories, edited by Stephanie Perkins. I thought this was okay. I think some of the stories were a lot better than others. I typically like to read a lot more of just really light and romantic comedy type books, and I felt like some of these were kind of dark for Christmas, and some of them were just kind of weird, so I wasn't 100% sure. So for each of the stories, I gave a rating, so I'll go through and do that now. The first story was Midnights by Rainbow Rowell, and I gave this 2 out of 5 stars. The next story was The Lady and the Fox by Kelly Link, and I gave this 2 out of 5 stars. Then Angels in the Snow by Matt De La Pena, and I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. Next was Polaris Is Where You'll Find Me by Jenny Han, and I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. Next is It's a Yuletide Miracle, Charlie Brown by Stephanie Perkins, and I gave this 4.5 out of 5 stars. Next, Your Temporary Santa by David Levithan, I gave 2 out of 5 stars. Next was Krampuslof by Holly Black, I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. Next was What the Hell Have You Done, Sophie Roth by Gail Foreman, and I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. Next is Beer Buckets and Baby Jesus by Myra McIntyre, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. Then Welcome to Christmas, California by Kirsten White, and I gave this one 3 out of 5 stars. Next was Star of Bethlehem by Allie Carter, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. And lastly, The Girl Who Woke the Dreamer by Laini Taylor, which I gave 2 out of 5 stars. Overall, I gave this book 3 out of 5 stars because it was really hit or miss for me. However, I am very excited for the summer edition of this same concept with 12 summer stories edited by Stephanie Perkins out this summer. Next, I picked up The Woods, and this is by James Tinian IV and Michael Dialanis. Yikes, sorry if I mispronounced your name. And this is Volume 1, The Arrow. This centers around a group of high schoolers at a school that has been transported to the moon, probably on another planet, and they have all kinds of evil little creatures that are attacking the students. And this group here on the front that you see sets off into the woods to try to figure out the mystery and get the school back home. And I thought it was very entertaining. It was a first book. A lot of questions are left unanswered, and I'd really like some more details, so I'm hoping to maybe pick up Volume 2 soon and see where the story goes. So I gave this 3.5 out of 5 stars. And finally, I read Anna and the Swallow Man by Gabriel Savit. And this was an ARC I received last month at a library conference, and it will be coming out later in January, and I thought this was really, really good. I wasn't expecting too much. I don't know, the cover and the title even just really didn't do it for me. I'm usually not too into historical fiction. I'm pretty picky when it comes to which books I do like in historical fiction, but this was surprisingly amazing. This reminded me a lot of The Book Thief, and I know it's been kind of compared to that already, so if you did like The Book Thief, I would highly recommend this to you. This also centers around a little girl during World War II. This centers around, obviously, Anna. She is from Poland, and when her father doesn't come home because he's sent to a concentration camp, we are led to believe, she meets up with the Swallow Man, and he ends up kind of leading her through the countryside of Poland to safety. And there's a lot of mystery around the Swallow Man, and it's very interesting. I wasn't even really sold on it when I read the summary at first, but when you get into this, it's outstanding. I thought this book was amazing, and I loved the role that language played in this. I just thought it all went together so well, and I'm hoping to do a full wrap-up on this later when with a specific review closer to the release date, so stay tuned for that. So those are all the books that I read in December. In January, I have a full list of books to read as well. First of all, I am currently reading 2 books. First, I'm reading The Killing Woods by Lucy Christopher. I loved Stolen, so when I got my hands on a copy of this towards the end of last year, I knew this was going to be one of the first ones that I read. I'm about 20 pages in, and I'm hoping to get some of this read hopefully tonight and get this finished soon. So far, it's going pretty well. Basically, this revolves around a soldier who is suffering from PTSD, and one day he is seen carrying a girl's body out of the woods, and it is believed, obviously, that he killed her, but I'm guessing that there's some mystery around that. We haven't quite gotten to that yet, so I am excited. This sounds like a great read. And I'm also currently rereading The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. If you don't know, for some reason, this is coming out this month, and I am so excited to see it. But I wanted to give it a reread, so I was ready for the movie, and so that I can read the next 2 books. I have Infinite Sea, but I haven't read it yet. And Last Star, I believe, is the final book, and it comes out sometime this year, so I just wanted to get caught back up so I could reread through. I'm currently listening to this one on audiobook, and I think I'm about 60 pages in. Also, I'm going to be participating starting Monday in the hashtag TBR Takedown 3.0, which is sponsored by Shannon over at Leaning Light, and for that I plan to read a couple of books. First, I'm going to read First, which was an ARC that I received from Griffin Books. This is by Lori Elizabeth Flynn, and I won this on a Goodreads giveaway, and basically it was marketed kind of like Easy A, the movie with Emma Stone, so I thought that sounded interesting, and when they sent me a copy, I was excited to give it a read. Then I will be picking up Zombie, which is the first in a teen zombie series by Darren Shan. And I don't really know much about this besides the fact that it's a teen zombie series, and one of my friends recommended it, so I'm going to give it a try. Then I'm going to pick up the 3rd installment of Amulet by Kazu Kibuishi, and this one is The Cloud Searchers. So far, I've really enjoyed this series, which is a a middle grade graphic novel series, and it seems really fun and lighthearted so far. Again, it's probably not like award-winning, groundbreaking stuff, but it's very interesting, and I'm looking forward to reading the next installment. And the last book I'm going to read for TBR Takedown is going to be an ebook, and that is The Great Gilly Hopkins by Katherine Paterson. And I used to have a copy of this book, and I actually got rid of it because I didn't think I was going to read it, but I heard there's a chance they're going to make this into a movie, and it is one of the few Katherine Paterson books that I have not read, so I decided to go ahead and throw it into my TBR pile for the takedown. So that, again, is going to be an ebook. Then the next book I want to read in January is also an ebook. I got an advanced reader's copy in an electronic format of Passenger by Alexandra Bracken, and I am so excited about that. The only thing I really know is that it involves pirates and time travel, which sounds like a great combination. So hopefully I can get that read soon, because I think that one comes out sometime this first week in January. So I'm hoping to get to that sooner rather than later. And then the last book that I am wanting to get to in January is for the book club that Leaning Lights sponsors, and that is Burial Rites by Hannah Kent. I have no idea what this is about, but I've seen this cover so many times and I love it. And when I saw that Shannon at Leaning Lights had a book club, I decided I was going to participate, and this is one of the first ones that they're reading for the year. So I'm hoping to get to this as well. So those are the books I'm hoping to get to in January. Let me know down below what you are planning to read in January, or if you've read any of these books, you can go ahead and let me know what you thought. And I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.